Cool. All right, guys, this is going to be a really quick training on how to use your time wisely, how to leverage off the time that you do have, and how to work smarter and not harder. And you're going to have different amounts of time every single day. You know, some days you'll have 30 minutes, some days you'll have an hour, some days you'll have all the time in the world. But what I'm finding is a lot of people are getting really caught up with, what do I do? I don't know what I should be doing now. Should I do the 60 and 60? I've done that. What do I do next? And so I'm going to draw out a little picture for you so that you can all understand what you should do. Maybe one day, you know, you're at work, you work 9 to 5, you work a full day, and you may only have 30 minutes that day. So I'm going to teach you what you should do that day. But then the next day you might have a day off and you might have all the time in the world. So I want to teach you what you should do on that day. And so draw out what I'm drawing out as I go along. I will have a PDF version of what I'm about to draw on the board for you guys. But I think sometimes it's really good just to write it out so you can write your own little notes while you write it all out. So I'm basically going to do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you guys all see that? Okay. So this is if you have 30 minutes a day. This is if you have 1 hour a day. This is if you have 2 hours a day. And this is if you have 3 hours a day. So you can look back on what you're going to draw today and really think, okay, I've only got 2 hours today. This is what I'm going to do. So the first thing I want to say for anyone here who's new, you've got 3 jobs if you're brand new, okay? So I'm going to write it over here, newbies. Your job is to talk to a lot of people. Your second job is to send lots of links. And your third job is to whack everyone that you're talking to and everyone you've sent a link to in front of your mentor. That's all you've got to do. That's how simple this business is when you first start. So you talk to lots of people. You eventually send them a link. So a lot of people you'll just talk to and you'll just talk and build relationships, and that's cool. This is a relationship building business. You plant some seeds today that will flourish maybe in 6 months from now, in a year from now. I just signed up a customer this week who I added on Facebook a year ago, guys. It's been a year conversation. So you talk to lots of people, you send them a link. So your link might be about the program. It might be about the business opportunity, one or the other. You're sending links. You're not explaining to people anything about what you do. If the conversation turns into, what do you do? Or I'd like to find out more information. Or what's that post that you did today? I'd like to find out more. Don't explain. You send links. And then once you've sent a link, you either start a 3-way chat with your mentor and introduce them. It's like, hey, Shani, this is such and such. I've just sent her a link about whatever I wanted to introduce you two together, and then let your mentor in the beginning do the work for you, with you, not for you, so that you can understand what it's like. And then when your mentor is talking in those 3-way chats, look at the scripts, because we've got all the scripts in the milestone 1, right? And this is literally just using scripts, talking to people, and then eventually you don't need to do this part. You'll just be talking to people and sending links, okay? So that's the first thing I wanted to get up. So let's go to 30 minutes a day. Let's say you're a full-time worker, or maybe you're a full-time mom, or maybe you've just got heaps of stuff going on and you can only find a 30-minute window in your day to work on your business. This was me when I first started. I was working 50 hours a week. There was no way I could do anything more than 30 minutes. So if this is you, your job is to do the 60 in 60. Like 100% do not do the 60 in 60. The way that the system is designed, guys, and where can I write this? I might write it over here. The 60 and 60 is so good, the way it's designed. You do 3 things. The first thing that you do is you add 10 people. The second thing that you do is you do the action step. And the third thing that you do is you do a post. The way it's designed, we put everything in order, we thought about it, we mapped it all out. It's specifically, you do an action. It's a 5-minute tutorial every day. That's all it is, guys. You do a 5-minute tutorial and you get taught something new that you need to know about your business and how to run your business. And then you do a post. And the way that the posts are designed, they're in, I don't know if anyone's noticed, but there's a pattern. They're all put in a different order. So you're doing a mixture of inspirational stuff, health tips, exercise tips, recipes, posts about the program. Every now and then there's a product post whacked in there, and then there's a business post injected in there, and it's just this beautiful order of non-annoying posts. They're just posts that people would love to see pop up on their newsfeed. So that's what you do. If you've only got 30 minutes, you do the 60-60 because you're going to do a post and then you're going to do an action. So adding 10 people a day, if you're doing the 60-60, one of the actions is actually, I think it's on day 1, you get taught how to add 10 people a day. Why? Why do we add 10 people a day and how? So if you haven't watched that video, go to day 1 and watch that action step so you can understand who, what, when, where, why. And so we add 10 people a day. I think that takes about 10 minutes, okay? Because you're hanging out in your groups, you're finding specific people, you're being really careful about who you're adding, you're making sure that your avatar, the avatar that you did from the BSS manual, milestone 1 manual. So that takes about 10 minutes. So I'm going to give that activity 10 minutes. Then doing the action. The action is a 5-minute video always. There's not one single video that's longer than 5 minutes. And then actually carrying out that action takes about 5 minutes. So doing step number 2, that's another 10-minute activity. So right there, you've got 20 minutes worth of work. And then the post, guys, that takes I'm going to give it 5 minutes, but it doesn't take 5 minutes to do a post. If you're taking longer than 5 minutes to do a post, you're thinking about it way too much. You've got to get out of your head and into your heart, just post. So we give you all the examples on what to post, how to post. All the examples are there. If you're someone who, you've got your own style of photos and you've got your own verbiage and your own way that you'd like to communicate to people, then this is something you want to do. Do like a bank of photos that you love, save them in your phone so that you don't have to think about it and you don't spend 20 minutes on Pinterest trying to find a photo. Otherwise, just use the post that we've provided for you. So right there's 25 minutes worth of work, literally. So you can't say that if you have 30 minutes a day, you can't build this business, because that's a lie. I built this business on 30 minutes a day. If I can do it, you can do it too. So that's the very first of our 30-minute people. Now, before I go on any further, I want to talk to you guys about the 5 high-paying activities that we have in this business. There are a lot of activities that you can do that are low-paying. They're not going to get you paid. And then there are the high-paying activities, and they're the ones that are going to get you paid. So I am going to write this over here. So high 5 for the newbies, just in case you don't have them or maybe you've forgotten, guys. The first one is expanding your network. Oh, I can't write. I'm going to do this. Expanding your network, which is, guess what? Doing this every day. So you're already expanding your network. The second thing is sharing. Let me know if you can't see this, guys. Maybe just unmute yourself if it's not visible. Yeah, it looks like it is. Okay, so the second is sharing, and guess what? That's this one right here. Posting is sharing. So the second high-paying activity is sharing. The third high-paying activity is inviting. And the fourth is following up. Follow up. Now, guess what? These two here, inviting and following up, right here. We teach you how to do that in the 5-minute actions every single day in your 60 and 60. So already, by doing the 60 and 60, you're already doing 4 of the high-paying activities every single day. One day you might be following up, the next day you might be inviting, and so forth, but it's a mixture of the two. Okay, so then the 5th high-paying activity is events and training. So that's going to training events, like what you're doing right now. This is a high-paying activity, guys, even though you're not physically getting $1 per hour. you're building yourself, you're building your business, you're building your knowledge. So that's a high paying activity. So right now you're doing one of those. And then going to events, so our business events. I say go to at least one a week, because you want to be hearing stories from others, you want to be seeing what others are saying, and also if you're up to that level, you want to start presenting at them. Actually, there's no level that you have to be at to present at our events. Anyone can step up and do a spot. I'll tell you what, the people with the whiteboard marker and the whiteboard always are getting paid the most. That is just like a unwritten law in this business. So if you are someone who sees yourself as a leader in this business and you want to do really well and you want to exceed, you want to be jumping on those events and saying, hey, you know what, I'm going to present a spot, or I'm going to share my business story, or I'm going to share my product story. So they're the high paying activities. Now, if you have 30 minutes a day, obviously events and training is not in the 60 and 60. So your job in your stolen moments is to, let's write this here, stolen moments. First thing you're going to do in your stolen moments, guys, is hang out in your inbox. So, you know, like this is when you're, I don't know, on a lunch break, on a toilet break, when you're waiting in line for something, when you're watching the kiddies like do their swimming and you're just sitting there, that's a stolen moment. That's when you're going to hang out in your inbox. And you're going to respond to all the people that you've been talking to, all these people, all the quality conversations that you're having with the 10 people you added. That's when you're in there. And of course, if you have team, you're responding back to team. Just on a note on team, guys, when you have a question, use the Babes in Business or the Dream Team page. That's the best thing for you to do when you have a question. Rather than bombarding your mentor with a million questions, ask the page, because you know what? We all get to learn from the answer that people get given there. So that's a really good way for you to have your questions answered. Otherwise, if it's something that you're finding really difficult and you just need to message your mentor, then of course, go ahead. The third thing you can do, which is actually the first thing I would suggest for you to do, is use the search bar first. So, you know, if you've got a question about how do I respond back to a pyramid scheme, type pyramid in the search bar. I promise you 1 million conversations will pop up with everyone's way, little script and whatever it is that you need will be in there. So first of all is search bar, second post in Bib, third or Dream Team, and third connect with your mentor. Because if your mentor only has 30 minutes a day, guess what they're doing? They're doing their 60 and 60. They're not responding to you. Okay, so in your stolen moments, you're hanging out in your inbox and you're talking to all those people. The second thing you're doing is you're catching up on training. So we always post the recording, training. We always post the recordings for our all the trainings that we have. So go to the album where they all get posted. Save them. You know, when you go on your phone and we post something, you can click on the top right hand corner and you can click save link, save it, and then in your stolen moments when you're exercising or you're driving, you're catching up on training then. And then the third thing you're doing in your stolen moments, and this is one of the steps in the 60 and 60, one of the actions in the 60 and 60, we tell you to download the app Audible, so that you can listen to all the books that we recommend, all the personal development, all the business development books. In your stolen moments, you're listening to the book of the month or the recommended book that you have. So that's what you're going to be doing if you have 30 minutes a day. Now I'm going to go on to our 1 hour a day people. So 60 and 60, of course, is your number one priority. So guys, when you wake up in the morning and you've got, let's say you've got 20 minutes, 30 minutes, that's what you want to do first. That's like priority. You're going to see very soon that there's a priority of things that you do in your day to build your business. The 60 and 60 is number one. It doesn't matter if you've been in this business for 2 weeks or 2 years, 60 and 60 gets done first, because you building your business is number one priority. Then it's about helping others build their business too. So you do the 60 and 60, you do the 10 people, you do the action, you do the post, done and dusted. You've done 50% of the high paying activities in your first 30 minutes of you building your business for the day. The second thing you're going to do, so I'm just going to do one of those. The second thing is an MFA. So an MFA is a 15-minute personal training session for you and your business. So if you have an hour, you do 30 minutes on your 60 and 60 and you do 15-minute MFA. Guys, I can't believe how many people are not rocking up to these. We've got these live every single day. A different leader hosts them. This is like free personal training. If someone offered me free personal training, I would be there every single day. This is free personal training. So other than that, that's like on par the most important thing to do for your business. So you want to be doing an MFA. If you can't catch them live, watch the recordings. We're about to build our bank of MFA recordings, but there's already a few in there, because you're going to be doing your 60 and 60, and then you're going to be doing some massive freaking action in a 15-minute window. This is like the biggest amount of energy that you can give in 15 minutes. It's the best activities that you can do in a 15-minute window for you to build your business. So that's what you want to be doing. So that's 15 minutes right there. And then the next thing you want to be doing is your follow-ups. Again, about 15 minutes of following up. So that's 15, that's 15, that's 30. There you go. That's an hour's worth of work. And so your following up, guys, is using your 30-day grid. I've stopped using a 30-day grid because I've run out of space. I talk to about 40 people a day now. So I'm just writing lists of people. Like, I've just got a notepad and I'm just writing out everyone's name, and I follow up with people. And I literally, this is me right now. I'm in the 3-hour plus section. So I spend about 2 hours a day following up, because that is a high paying activity. When you're following up with people, instead of like waiting for them to write back to you and hope they like respond to you, follow up, guys. That the fortune is in the follow up. I promise you, when you follow up with someone, they've totally forgotten about you. They're not thinking about you and your business. And so when you pop up in their inbox and you're like, hey, did you check out that link? Like, what did you love best about it? They're going to be like, oh my gosh, shit, I totally forgot to respond back to her. So following up, if you've got an hour a day, you want to be following up. And guys you've only got 30 minutes a day, when you're hanging out in your inbox, in your stolen moments, that's when you're following up as well. So I remember when I was still working full time, I used to take my 30-day grid with me to work, so that in my lunch break, I could like quickly look at it and be like, right, who do I need to message? So be really smart about your 30-day grid and carry it with you in your diary, wherever you're going, so that you've got that with you. So you're not like stuck at swimming with the kids going, crap, I need to be following up right now, but I don't know who I need to follow up with, right? So that's for the people who have an hour. I'm going to go over to 2 hours. So guess what the first thing is? If anyone says it, you get a prize. What's the first thing you're going to do in the day when you wake up? 60 and 60. Yay! We're going to do 60 and 60. 60 and 60, it's going to take you 30 minutes. The second thing you're going to do is an MFA. That's going to take you 15 minutes. The third thing you're going to do is you're going to follow up on your 30-day grid or on your notepad list, whatever way you're going to do it. There's no right or wrong. So 30-day grid or the list. And then the fourth thing you're going to do, so that's another 15 minutes there. So what's that? That's, hold on a minute. Go look at my notes. Yeah. Following up, sorry, that's right. I've decided to make this one 30 minutes worth of following up. If you've got 2 hours a day, you've got time to do some following up. So you're spending a solid amount of time talking to people and following up. And then the fourth thing you're going to do is you're going to watch a training, or you're going to rock up on an event, and you're going to start stepping up and being a leader and presenting at events or hosting them, or you're going to catch up on some trainings. Now, in the album where all of our trainings are, we've got trainings in there from like a year ago. Catch up on them, guys. Like, when I was trying to catch up on all the trainings, I made a list of all the trainings in that album, and then I ticked them off as I go. Because I promise you there's some gold in there from some amazing leaders, not just in our team, but the greater team. People from Perth, some 100 Club NMDs that have done training with us. Gold, like invaluable training in there. So if you've got 2 hours a day, start ticking off those training events. and then start rocking up to some of the live events too, and start listening to people's story and build your belief in yourself, build your confidence. That's what this business is all about, right? So that's what you're going to do if you have 2 hours a day. This is turning out to be quite messy. I'm very sorry. I'm just going to make a line here. Ooh. Okay, 3 hours a day. Doesn't matter if you're in this business, like I said before, for 2 weeks or 2 years, you do the 60-60 every single day, guys. That is just like the most easiest thing for you to do. Then we're going to do an MFA. Then we're going to do some following up. When you've got 3 hours a day, again, you want to be doing that for about 30 minutes. That's 15, that's 30. It's right there. You've got an hour and 15 minutes worth of work, and you've got 3 or more hours a day. So what are the other things that you're going to do? We've got training. We've got events that you want to go to, start hosting them, or start just presenting like your favorite part. You know what? When you're presenting at events, stick to one part for a long time until you've nailed that bit. And then once you feel like you're a pro at that bit, put your hand up to do the next one that you're a bit scared of doing, or you want to grow yourself and do. The next thing you're going to do, now, if you've been doing the actions in the 60 and 60, you would have in week 1 of the 60 and 60 actions been taught how to divide your friends lists into different lists in like potential clients, potential team, people who have said no, family and friends, etc., etc. For the people on the line who don't know what I'm talking about right now, start with a 60 and 60. You'll come across that action eventually in the first 7 days. For those who know what I'm talking about, this is where if you've got 3+ hours a day, you want to start hanging out in your lists. So I hang out in my potential client list, my potential team lists, and my no's. And I hang out in there and I kiss, kiss, hug. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. When I say kiss, kiss, hug, it's that action. You would have been taught about it. It's in week 3, kiss, kiss, hug. And that is me expanding my network. So that's, again, another high-paying activity. So hanging out in your lists. The next thing you want to be doing is hanging out in groups. So adding value, asking questions, answering the questions of others, and then connecting, making connections, making relationships. So that's the next thing you want to be doing. Again, we teach you how to do this properly, how to not waste time doing this in the action steps of the 60 and 60. The next thing you want to be doing is having quality conversations. So when I say quality conversations, you're just talking to a shitload of people. You're talking to lots and lots and lots of people, and you're asking those quality questions, and you're asking them about them, and you're building relationships. You're spending your spare time building relationships with people and talking to a lot of people. And then this essentially is just you're building your business with this. If you've got the extra time and you've done all of this, your 30-day grid should be like overwhelming. There should be so many names in all those little squares that you don't have enough space that you turn to one of these now, because you've got so many people that you're talking to. This was my day yesterday. This is one day. So if you have 3+ hours a day, that's what your day should look like. You should be talking to so many people. And I write a little T next to their name if they're a potential team, or a C next to their name if they're a potential customer. And I hit that hard and I follow up every day. So that's literally what your day should look like, guys. I know it's a little bit messy. I will put it up on a PDF for you. So I'm going to answer some questions now, because I think I've said everything. If your 30-day grid is looking very sparse, and this is you here, 2 hours, 3 hours, you've really got to think about what you're doing or what you're not doing, because your 30-day grid should be full of names. You're talking to lots of people, and that's basically it.